An unknown Mexican shakes up the women's 55s. The USA's Sophie Shaft looks to dethrone Mattie Rogers. And, yep, Abdo Younes did something crazy. All that and more in this week's episode of the Weightlifting House News Show. Now, just a very quick 15 seconds before we get started, we had a major restock across all of our accessories over the last few weeks. So our 3 for 2 is now live. You can get 3 accessories for the price of 2, any mix and match. All of our products are worn and chosen by champions, world record holders, Olympic champions, all the way down to first-time beginners. Head to the link down below and get yours 3 for 2 now. Okay, we'll kick things off with Iryna Dombrovska. I actually called her Iryna Dombrovska, and then Dr. Putsov, my co-commentator, ex-Ukrainian national team member, messaged me and said it's Iryna, not Iryna. So Iryna Dombrovska, 130 clean and squat jerk at the Cup of Ukraine. Now, remember, she really kind of blew up in terms of popularity at the World Championships in Norway. She did that 131 clean and squat jerk. That became our most viewed video of the entire year on YouTube. I can't remember now how many, but something like, could have been 750,000 views in 2 or 3 months. It was kind of crazy. And so this is just a kilo below that, and she made it look really good. She's still got, basically 7-8 weeks now until the European Championships, which start on the 19th of April in Georgia, Batumi. So all things going very smoothly for Dombrovska. Next up, we have an athlete who is lifting below her capabilities for sure, but someone who we haven't really seen in a while. It was the, I guess, kind of like the queen of the World Championships, Solfrid Koanda, who of course won in her home country. She just did a 140 kilo clean and jerk, and it looked wonderful. This was at the Bundesliga. She and her team won. Can she do more? Clearly, but still very cool to see. Actually, can we play? We made this really cool hype reel of her, which we posted on Instagram. Who knows when this comes out? In the past, I suppose, is when we posted it. Watch this, it's sick.
Know me now, cause I got them big racks. Cause I'm getting money now. I know you heard that. Young nigga on the corner, I had to serve crack. I'm confronting me some peas, had to get him hers back. We came up on dirty money, I gave it a bird back. Cut off the brain and I came out the new coupe. Either you run a y'all gang or you shoot whoop. Got a new one in 10 minutes. Ain't out it down. I put the new 4Gs on the G. I trap into the bloody bottoms is underneath. Cause I might got it out the streets. I keep 100 racks inside my jeans. I remember hitting them all with the whole team. Now I can't answer a call cause I'm balling.
Next, we have weightlifting royalty, believed to have been retired maybe 4 or 5 times at this point. It's Tian Tao. Really? Is he really still making the news show? He is. 260 kilo front squat. That's massive. I've been under the impression multiple times that he's retired. In fact, I've been asked recently, please do a documentary on his career. And I've said I can't do that because I already did that in 2021. I made a really good documentary. It came out, people loved it. And then he came back. And now he's retired again. And, is he coming back? I don't know. 260. How many 94s are there in the world that can do that? Kadamar, a few South Americans maybe, but basically nobody. It's pretty unbelievable. He also did a 190 clean and jerk a few weeks ago. So Tian Tao, I think he's done. I think it's just for the love of the game at this point. Next up, we have Taniela Rainibogi from Fiji, 110 kilo lifter. I think this is his first time on the news show. He just did a 175 snatch. So that's actually plus 2 kilos. It's unofficial over the Commonwealth record, which is obviously a big deal in countries like Fiji, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom. And I think his best snatch, 170 from back in 2023 internationally. He did 210 at that same competition. 175, absolutely massive, new personal best for him. So shout out to the big Fijian. In rugby, they used to be called the Flying Fijians, but I guess he's speedy. He's jacked. I would just call him the big Fijian. Okay, sticking in that kind of area of the globe, actually, let's go with Seine Stowers again. She's 17, she's 77 kilo. We talked about her 215 back squat last week, which ruffled some feathers. I know it's not the same as Olivia's 227 in terms of depth. I know, but she's 17. It's just amazing. But she just did a 112 snatch. That's massive. You know, her actual, you know, her squat, maybe she doesn't need to do 215 with, you know, cutting her depth slightly and all the wraps. It's unbelievable that she did, but she probably doesn't need to do that. But the fact that her snatch and her clean and jerk are actually still on the up, that's what's so incredible. So 112 for her at 77 is huge. She could easily be another 120 type of snatcher at some point. 120, 150, it's definitely possible, this squad. And then staying still in the area, but now over to Australia, we have Sammy Walker. She's a 77 kilo weightlifter. I think she might be like 18 or 19. I could be wrong. I think she's pretty young. And she just block snatched 100 kilos for a double, which is massive. I mean, she's not, you know, there are some very, very good lifters in Australia. She's not quite on the level of Aileen. She's not quite on the level of Kiana. But still, I mean, it's not often you see 100 kilo snatches out of Australia, not least for a double. So very talented athlete. Very excited to see what she does in this coming year. Then we have Ali Nasiri. He just did a 215 2+1. And when you first see it, you just think, gosh, he's just been pinned by a 215 clean and he can't get it up. And you know what? It might be true. I mean, we've seen the Iranians do some crazy, crazy things. I mean, do you remember when, probably not, but some of you will, when Kianush clean and jerk 220 in training, I think it was. Could have been 222. I think it was 220. Unofficial world record at the time was an 85. It was probably 2016. And he cleans it, then he goes for the jerk, mistimes the jerk. And so he sort of like dips and comes back up. And then he's like, okay, let's just go again. Goes again and makes it. I feel like the Iranians do some crazy things. But 215 for a 2+1 is very, very strong. And speaking of Iran, they've just had their national championships. It's been hard to see exactly what's gone on. One of the things that I think people will be interested in is Alireza Yousefi, the super heavyweight from Bahrain, who won. He just hit 222 kilos for his first attempt clean and jerk. And then I don't know anything else beyond that. I think he I think he went light. I think he probably won, and maybe then he just declined after that. I'm not completely sure, but I'd be very keen to know what he did actually hit. He will be at the Asian Championships, so this April. Speaking of the Asian Championships, Park Hye-jeong, two-time world champ, she just back squatted 250 kilos, which is huge. I posted about this on my personal Insta last week, along with another lift, which was coming up, another big back squat. Then she did 200 for a triple, but 250, it was amazing. I wanted to know, like, how do the top weightlifters compare to powerlifters? And it seems that at that highest, that sort of largest of weightlifters level, like once you get into the supers, we have a much bigger gap, obviously in terms of absolute amounts, but relative as a percentage. And then I think you see it on the men's side as well. Like Mart Syme's a bit of an anomaly when he did that 400. But in general, you don't really see any male supers going over like 330-ish, that kind of range. I'm sure they can. Maybe they can push it up towards 350. But then you've got the top powerlifters doing like 450. There's like a 20-25% difference there. So I don't know. Is that true? I'm only a weightlifting specialist. I don't know powerlifting quite so well, but that's my observation. Next up, I mentioned it right at the start. Mexican 55, Joseline Gonzalez. She's 19, and oh my goodness, she's insane. So at basically last April, she clean jerked 106, which is, is a great lift as a junior. She just clean and jerked in training 124 kilos. She's a 55. She's 19. She did 124. Let's put it into perspective so it actually means something other than that sounding like a lot of weight. If she had competed in the 53s at Worlds, so that was a session with North Korea, Mihaela Kambe, she would have won the clean and jerk with that. If she'd competed in the heavier 58 kilo class, so that was, again, Kim Il-gyong, North Korea. We had Mo Charon, Olympic champion and Olympic medalist. We had Kuo Seung-chun. If she'd have been in that session, she'd have placed fourth. But she didn't even weigh that much when she did this. So she's right sitting in the middle. Absolutely incredible. She did 118 and 121 before, so it's not like she was completely fresh. Absolutely incredible. And then I think there's a video of her also snatching 93. So, 93, 124. The snatch is a bit down, actually, compared to the top 58s. But I think what's the weight? The weight classes are changing to 59? 61. 61 is what the weight class are changing to. Well, there'll be a 57 and a 61, but the 57 will be non-Olympic. So we'll see what she does. But just absolutely incredible. Yeah, amazing stuff. Next up, one of the athletes who's very quickly becoming one of my absolute favorites to watch. It's Sophie Shaft, 63 kilo USA weightlifter. So at the World Championships, she went 101, 126, and she placed 5th. She just did 107 in the snatch, so that's +6, and then 133 in the clean and squat jerk. She switched to the squat jerk as well. You can read more about that. It's at weightliftinghouse.com on our blog. We've got the interview there. So that's a 240 total, so she's up 13. 240, what she just hit, would have been a silver at the World Championships. It would have been behind Kim Il-kyung. It would have been above Mode and Kwo. So absolutely sensational. So she needs to total 235 kilos in order to unseat Mattie Rogers and become one of the top 3 women on Team USA. So that would be behind Olivia Reeves, number 1, Mary Tyson Lappin, number 2, and then currently we've got Mattie Rogers at number 3. And then there are some other athletes actually in between there. But Sophie Shaft's progress is just so amazing. So her international best is 227. Last week she did 240. She needs 235. So why does she need to do this? Well, on the line is the fact that in addition to direct funding that Team USA gets from USAW, the top 3 male and the top 3 female weightlifters in the national team are also awarded a separate additional stipend from the US Olympic and Paralympic Committee. I don't know how much that is. It might even say somewhere, but it's probably a hefty, in the low tens of thousands of dollars a year as an additional amount, possibly. I would have thought something around there. So it's hugely valuable. And I guess no wonder there's so much improvement. It's also interesting that Sophie Shaft is 3 times CrossFit Games athlete, 3rd fittest teen on earth in 2022. And she told us in the interview, I think she was at like 109 in the clean and jerk or 106 as a CrossFitter. And now she's at 133. So if you want to learn more about her and her, her switch to weightlifting and her goals to become an Olympian, then you can check that out. You get access to all of these interviews before anyone else on the Weightlifting House newsletter. We send it out every Friday, and it's got a word from me, a little breakdown of bits of news like interviews with Sophie or like anything that's happened in the IWF, and then all of the biggest lifts that I talk about here on the news show. We just break them down for you, lifts you need to see from the biggest names, and then from sort of like up and comers. It's just a way for you to stay up to date with everything. It's totally worth it. It's totally free. There's like maybe 30,000 weightlifters on there, so yeah, go check it out. Oh, also, I think 2 weeks ago we interviewed Masanori Miyamoto, Team Japan, so that's there too. Okay, so speaking of Mattie Rogers, as somebody who Sophie Shaft is trying to move ahead of, let's talk about Mattie Rogers. She just hit a new personal best in the clean double at 137 kilos. I'm not sure I know what her best single is. I would posit that it's around 145, and that her best clean and jerk is 143. Or is it 144 if you count the lift that wasn't counted, but it kind of was a good lift? But it's right around there. So 137 for a double is absolutely huge. And then I noticed that she snatched 111 kilos at the end of an EMOM, which she said she absolutely loves EMOMs on the minute work. Every minute on the minute, or OTM on the minute. I used to love them as well. Massively underrated exercise. We talk a lot about them in the Pendlay Method book, which you can pick up at Weightlifting House as well. But yeah, 111, 137 double. She's in shape for the Arnold. Is she going to the Arnold? Probably. Next up, I mentioned Angel Rusev, the Bulgarian 63, how he back squatted 255, which is crazy. And funnily enough, on that video, Mohamed Ozbek, world champ at 65, commented something like, "You're insane," or something like that, which I thought was funny. But then he just posted a 125 snatch. And, Rusev's got problems with being very, shoulder depressed, elbows bend. Shoulder, scapula. But, yeah, he has a lot of problems with that. He's moving up a weight category from the 55s to the 60s. He currently weighs 63. So at European champs, he'll be 60. He just did a 125 snatch, a 157 clean and jerk. And then today on his story, he posted 160 clean and jerk. So 125, 160 at 60. He probably won't be able to hold on to this list. But let's say he does 122, 155. I mean, it's amazing. He's already a 5-time European champ, so he's looking to make it number 6. Okay, almost there now. But next up, Laura Amaro from Brazil. She just did a 140 kilo jerk double off blocks. Looked easy. She's always got a great lockout. She's got great foot position and great balance between her front and back foot and the jerk. Really awesome to see. So yeah, she's looking good there. Next up, we're going to move to Egypt for 2 lifters, and that's how we're going to wrap things up. The first is Karim Abokhala, the 2023 world champion from Saudi Arabia. He just did a 210 kilo clean plus front squat plus jerk, a 1 + 1 + 1 at 210. That's 462 pounds. His best ever clean and jerk in comp is 213. But at the World Championships, he did 203. He did not look that great. He looked pretty good in training, but then really just sort of dropped off in competition. But he's, of course, the training partner of the final lifter today, Abdo Younes. It's a weightlifting news show, and you've got to talk about weightlifting news, and what he does is unbelievable, so we've got to talk about it. 160 for 3 singles in the snatch. We're going to ramp up in terms of impressiveness. 170 in the snatch, that's an unofficial world record. And then 210 in the clean and jerk. 210 kilos. And he weighs about 81, I think he said. So he sent me that 210 in my DMs, I think it was, and I was going to save it, and I was going to post it, and I wanted to break the news, but then somebody else posted it. It might have been vintage lifts, I can't remember. So we've got to talk about it. 210 at 81, what's that comparable to? Well, the world record at 81 was 209 from Rahmat, but he did that weighing 78. He's not on Rahmat's level, obviously. He's not even close in the clean and jerk. But Liu Xiaojun's best, 207. Carlos, 208. These are all in competition. The 85 kilo world record was 220. But 210 at 81, it's unbelievable. And it looks good. His elbows actually look... Do they? Let me see. The clean's very good. He can clean 215, can't he? Yeah, it depends if we have the jury from hell or the other jury. It could pass. But absolutely incredible. Amazing lifting from him. So that's it. Let's wrap up with the top 3 lifts. I'm going to say it has to be Abdo's 210. It has to be Sophie Shaft, 107, 133, 240 total. And Joseline Gonzalez, 124 at 55. Those are the top 3. Vote for which one you think is the most impressive down below. And check out the Weightlifting House 3 for 2 right now at weightliftinghouse.com. The link is down below.